And then the final thing, which we'll touch on when we get round to the ocean, is obviously the spare wheel. Now on most Grand Californias, like the one from in here for example, there is no spare wheel. So you're not worrying about something being taken from underneath the vehicle, but we will talk about that a little bit more in depth when we look at the ocean in a second. So carrying on with the spare wheel we were talking about, obviously on the 6.1 we've got a spare wheel on most vehicles. Unless you've got 4Motion, they don't come with spare wheels, or if you've upgraded to something like 18-inch wheels, again it doesn't come with a spare wheel on that basis. So normally the wheel will be located underneath the vehicle that's underneath on here. This particular vehicle, because it's got 18-inch wheels, doesn't have a spare wheel. However, just for the intents and purposes of the moment, assume it does. So that spare wheel is held in with a cradle, and there's 2 bolts which come up through the cradle into the actual into the vehicle as well, which is screwed on. Those bolts you can just undo, it comes away, and you can get the spare wheel out, and off you go. What you do have and what you can purchase is you can purchase a locking wheel bolt for that, which is you replace one of the bolts, you get a little key, something similar to this that's on there, and that basically just then locks that particular one in. So without the key you can't actually undo that particular bolt. There's lots of other companies that sell similar things as well that I've seen. Sometimes those have got like big red things on them so you can see it, so when you look at the back of the vehicle, so you know that the wheel has that locking wheel function on there. Again, the locking wheel bolt thing, we do quite a few vehicles with them. We've been through a spate at times where people have been taking spare wheels. The thing I would say about the spare wheels on most of them, all these vehicles, they're all a steel wheel usually, unless you've upgraded for the actual alloy that's there as well. So from a value perspective, there's not really a great deal of value underneath there to actually replace that wheel. So you know, why would you take it? That's the question. But obviously people do lose them. For peace of mind, I think the locking wheel bolt set's about £20 something like that you want there. So if that's something that you'd like to do, obviously you can do that. While we're looking at the back of the vehicle, one other thing to bear in mind as well is, do you have a bike rack? Now whether this goes for something like this for example, or on the Grand, you can get bike racks on the Grand as well, that's in there. These all have the function of having a locking system on them, which is on the end of these. So these have all got a key lock on the end, which obviously locks the bike into place, and this is where it's locked from in here as well. Now if you check out our bike rack video, we've done one. We are going to be shooting hopefully the second one quite soon as well, that's there. And I do mention on there as well, as if it was me and I had bikes on the back of it, I would have them chained as well. I think I'd have separate locks that's on them as well, just to be on the safe side, especially if you're leaving them for a longer period of time, if you're away somewhere, you've left it in a car park or somewhere like that. And again, it'll just give you a little bit more peace of mind when you're leaving your vehicle, if you're leaving it for the day somewhere, knowing that they've got a little bit better security than just, for example, those that's on there as well. Plus with a lock, and I've said this before, a lot of this is the visual thing. Somebody walks past your bikes on the back of it, they see this lock attached to it that's on there, think, oh yeah, it's all locked up, that's on there as well. Alternatively, if somebody doesn't see that lock and doesn't see that it's got locks on there, you just never know. So I'm a bit of a fan of having something that's visual that you can see. So again, we have the same sensors inside the vehicle as we do on the Grand. We have the same ones on here, and these are located in the up inside here. So if you've got a vehicle, if you have a look in through the grills, you will see 2 round sensors that's in there, and they do the same function in this vehicle as they do in the Grand. So obviously they're sensing if anything changes inside the vehicle, so things like broken windows, etc. Obviously they would change it from there as well. And all this, as I said before, as I said on the Grand, it's all controlled by the head unit. We'll show you that now, so you can see that how it's done from on there. So it's all controlled in there. So no buttons anymore on the side of the panels. Obviously, if you've got an older vehicle, so even some of the 6.1, the first ones came out with the button. It's only quite recently they've removed the button. So the button wise, you pressed it, and then you'd shut the driver's door and lock the vehicle, and that would turn off the internal sensors. But you were doing that every time you came and unlocked the vehicle. And just for those that don't know, that button would have been located down here on the side panel, so it would have been somewhere around here, and you would have seen it as probably about that big or so, something like that, and there's a little button that was on there. We also get a lot of questions about having your vehicle when you're driving away. So through the function on the dash, on these and the new ones on here, you've got the function to change it. So for example, that as soon as you drive away, all your doors lock on your central locking. I have that on my own car actually. As soon as you drive away, it basically locks the vehicle. So anybody who comes out, say if you set a traffic lights or something like that, for example, somebody couldn't just open the passenger seat and take something out of the passenger seat. Obviously, as soon as I come to stop and I open that, you just open the vehicle and the vehicle opens. And that again is all done via the central locking module. So you just go into that on the car settings on the dash and you can just activate that function. Now, most accessories that you would need some form of lock come with them. So things like roof bars, for example, if you had on there, they would have a lock on each individual roof bar so that you couldn't take it off without bringing the lock off. And again, if you had a roof box on the vehicle, again, you'd always tend to find they have at least one lock that's on there, which is key operated as well. And that again just keeps it locked and secure. So that's all the main points of the security on the vehicle. So the thing to bear in mind is they all have an immobiliser built in and they've all got an alarm system as well, which is on the vehicle, which are both very important things to do there. We've spoken a little bit about additional things you can buy, like trackers, for example, steering locks we talked about that's there, things like locking wheel bolts that's on the back and bike rack chains and things like that as well. We've talked about all of those as well. The final thing I would say about, obviously, from a security perspective, these are some of the basic things, so excuse me for saying this, but I think it's worth pointing out. So there are a few things that are definitely worthwhile. So things like not leaving things on show on your vehicle, so people walk past them, they can't see things, they think, oh, quite fancy one of them laptops, for example, and obviously take the laptop that's in there as well that comes out. Where you leave your vehicle, always a good idea to leave your vehicle where there's lots of people around. If there's anything we've missed, if there's anything that you have on your vehicle that you think is a really good security feature, pop that in the comments box below. There are a few other things as well that I know people have, for example, things like ghost immobilisers on top of what they already have. If you don't know what those are, do a quick search for ghost immobilisers. That's a really good thing. It's an additional immobiliser on the vehicle where essentially you have to press certain buttons on your dash and you can set it up different ways before the vehicle will start again. Again, really good things. I've had good positive things that I've heard from customers before. So you jump in, press do on your dash, and then you can start your vehicle as normal. So really good thing. That's an additional thing that you can have a look at. Check those out if you want to. That's a fairly new thing to the market, but it seems quite a popular thing to have fitted as well as an additional thing. So I hope that's good. It said if there's anything I've missed, pop it in the comments box below and then we can review it next time, maybe on a Q&A session or something like that. If you've enjoyed today's video, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe for more content like this and we'll see you next time.